Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flare. Hope you're all doing very well today, and we are back home. We're back to the rock. We're back to Golgari Midrange, the bread and butter of the channel, and we are bringing you a live recorded Modern League, and yeah, that's something we haven't done in a while, so hope y'all are as pumped as I am to play some rock yet again, but it is not just any rock list. It is not just my stock rock list. This is a hybrid, by popular demand, of the MTGO user Pair Nobles list and my own stock list that we're going to give a shot today. So we're going to get into the deck tech. We're going to keep it brief, but first we need to thank our Patreon supporters. Each and every one of you, I do appreciate you. Means a lot to me, and we have a brand new confidant who has joined the ranks to thank. I'm going to give the name a shot. Gabriella Vicari. Hope that's right. Hope that's close. Great name either way. Hope I pronounced it correctly. Gabriella Vicari is a confidant, brand new Patreon supporter. Thank you so much, my friend, and thanks again to all patrons. Now, to get into the list, I recently, if you missed it on this channel, it's just a couple of videos prior to this one, I reviewed a 5-0 MTGO rock list that did catch my eye by user Pair Noble, and I said, hey, let's talk about this list, let's think about some of the more unorthodox decisions. Pair himself actually stopped by the comment section, that was very cool, to share some thoughts. And I also in that video asked, hey, do you want to see me play this through a league, or would you rather see me play the stock list? One or two people wanted to see his list, one or two people wanted to see the stock list, but I think the strong consensus was for some kind of a hybrid, some kind of taking the better parts, what we in the community thought maybe were better parts of his list, and combining them with some of the things we like better about my own list. So that's exactly what I have endeavored to do here. Just run through it briefly. Of course, you can look at Golgari League 32 on this channel for my most recent stock list, as well as you can look at the list where we review Pair's list to get an in-depth look at his. But Pair was on 24 lands, and we are carrying that over. He was on 4 Nurturing Peatland. We've cut down to 3. I explained why in the review. I just don't think the deck can support 4. But he also is on 2 copies of Treetop Village and no Hissing Quagmire, and I am giving that a shot here. So the black mana is a little bit less consistent, but we do have the 24th land in the deck, basically another Peatland, so we should still have plenty of black production. Therefore, I think we can leverage the second Treetop pretty well. Pair was more hedged main deck against graveyard stuff with 2 Spellbomb and only 3 push. I decided to keep the second and third Spellbomb in the side and play the full 4 Fatal Push. Really well positioned card right now, really key to us being able to interact profitably in the early turns. I am down to 6 discard spells from the 7 I've been playing. I still think 7 is viable, but we had to make cuts to bring in some of this newer tech that we're trying out today, and that's where I found a cut. So I did just directly port Pair's entire main deck creature suite into this deck here. So we have only 3 Dark Confidant, 3 Skoos, 4 Goyf, 2 Tireless Tracker, and 2 Plague Engineer main, and a 1 of Courser of Truffix, which is a card that really caught my eye when I did see the 5-0 initially. Again, for the detailed thoughts on this, you can check out that video, but the gist is that lots of Predators for Bob in the format right now, and a very aggressive format overall, but he's still one of our best cards despite that. So we hedge away from him a little bit. We play down to 3. Courser is good in the matchups where Bob is bad, while also being a card advantage engine of sorts. Admittedly, a much more conditional and less overwhelmingly good one, but there you have it. And finally, a main deck Kalitas. As mentioned, this was in Pair's main deck, and it is also in ours. Another card that seems pretty well positioned right now, no question about it. The final thing I'll point out about the main decks is that Pair had a very unusual 2 Maelstrom Pulse main, only 2 Trophy, no Abrupt Decay, no Collective Brutality. And I've made a lot of changes to my stock list. That was not one of them. We're sticking with my favored 3-1-1 split of Trophy, Decay, Pulse. I, again, am intrigued by the other split, but it's just a bridge too far. If I copied that, then we would be mostly playing his list, and again, the consensus was for some kind of a hybrid. One of the first changes I made to the sideboard is to play the full 4-Plague Engineer, where he had 0 copies here. I have the other 2, so there we go. But other than that, it's a lot of the same stuff he's doing. Only 1 Extraction, only 1 Brutality. We've got the Last Hope. We've gotten us a Vital Force, a card I haven't actually registered in a list of my own devising in a while, but very nice against Jund, specifically. A lot of our other good Planeswalkers, including Vraska, who's not in here, you take them down, they end up at 1 loyalty, they can get blown out hard by a Wrenn and 6. Nissa is more of a true mirror breaker relative to other Planeswalkers now than she ever has been, so we'll give her a shot. Weather the Storm is another card I don't usually register in Golgari decks that I build, but Pear had it. We're going to play it here. It was really nice in one specific window against Burn in my recent Jund League, which was a big success. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't. 2 Collector Roof, Spell Bombs 2 and 3. We got a Cage. We got 3 Fulminator. Again, these are some things that Pear didn't have. He only had 2 Fulminator, and he had some other things, but there's the gist of it. I think it's a pretty well-balanced list. You know, I haven't spent an enormous amount of time poring over, do we have the exact balance for this matchup and that matchup? Because, you know, ultimately we are hybridizing 2 lists, right? So it's not really going to be perfect no matter what we do the first time. And with the upcoming Banned and Restricted announcement, the meta will change, the demands on our sideboard may change, will change, I will imagine. And anyway, there you have it. So that's what we're up to today. We are, again, playing it live recorded, playing a hybrid of my stock list and Paranoble's 5-0. So shout out to Paranoble. Thanks again to the patrons, and here we go. We're finding our opponent in stage 1. Hey, we've got Courser in the opening hand. This is a super threat-dense hand, and we're on the draw. This would be way better on the play. But it's a blind game 1. We've got a functional hand with an Inquisition, so we're going to keep it. But that is a bit annoying to be so threat-dense here on the draw. Marsh Flats fetching Godless Shrine. Thoughtseize. My first thought here is Esper Shadow, in which case the threat-dense hand is definitely not too bad, but okay, they take Tarmogoyf. Interesting. We draw another Scooz. Yeah, that's probably pretty poor. Obviously, we just want to hit the 3rd land, and a lot of interaction, it seems. Okay, opponent's got Inquisition, Sculler, Unearth. Okay, so there's no real way we can deal with the Sculler, except to, you know, hope they play it and whiff, right? So, very interesting decision. I'm tempted to leave both Sculler and Unearth and take away their other Inquisition and just try to overload the board. The problem is if they find a threat that's a lot harder for us to deal with, then not only do we have to find an answer for it, we have to also fight through the Unearth, right? So part of me is tempted to take the Unearth, but I think I'm actually just going to take Inquisition here, and we're just going to play our stuff out. It's going to make their Sculler worse because now they have no more information with which to decide whether or not to use them, so this might just be a Sculler here, you know? Sure looks like it. Okay, that's pretty good. It's only a Grizzly Bear now. Oh! Yeah, never mind. I'm just dumb. I forgot this. I'm just so used to playing humans. I'm used to it being, I'm used to the Kite Sail Freebooter effect. But I still think that's actually a perfectly fine play because now we get the Sculler out there on our own terms before we draw more high-value permanents. We've drawn a Plague Engineer. Not very exciting, but at least that can trade up with a Shadow, if that's what we're against here. Looks like Mardu Shadow. Ranger Captain of Eos. Okay, they found their 2 draws have been the 3rd land and the Ranger Captain, which needless to say is incredibly good. Yeah, that's pretty tough stuff right here. So we do hit our third land as well. Interesting. Alright, they've cycled a Street Wraith away as well, so we do have some food for the Skoos. Alright. We're going to play another Skoos. We're going to pass. This makes their attacks a little bit trickier. We need to buy ourselves a little bit of time. Obviously, Plague Engineer can trade up with a Shadow, but here's where our failure to take on Earth that I mentioned earlier is going to come in. Potentially come in, right? Alright, I think we take the kill on the Sculler. Again, they can unearth it, but that's actually probably our best bet. We're going to take the hit from the Knight. They're going to path the trailing Skoos. You got it. Get a forest to make our Skoos that didn't get pathed a little bit better here in the coming turns. So we get our Courser back, then they get to unearth a Sculler, if they so decide. They're gonna sack the Ranger Captain just to be able to unearth it and tutor up another Shadow. Pretty good too, but Alright, Dark Confidant, huh? So their hand is Shadow, Shadow. So we can just go Confidant Skoos here. That's the most mana efficient and gives us the best chance of having a great turn next turn. Or we could play Courser, hope that the top card is a land, and then we really get the best possible turn because then we get to go Courser into Bob. Courser can block the Ranger Captain, and then we're just set up for a massive, massive value turn next turn. I actually think I'm going to do that. I think the upside is high enough to make me want to do it. We get to hold up a Skoos activation this way. And we'll play it off the top. We're rewarded. We'll gain a life. Alright, first time casting the Courser. That's pretty good. So yeah, we're just going to play the Bob here and pass. Okay. So the opponent's seeing two new cards here. Here come the Shadows. Inquisition. That's rough. That's rough. There goes our Plague Engineer. But alright, Bob's gonna flip the field. We've got a Tarmogoyf on top, huh? Okay. So right now we just can get pretty darn big with the Skoos. Big enough to compete with that Shadow at the moment. Alternatively, we can play Field, we can use it to crack Peatland, we can play the Goyf and then just have the floor. Yeah, we should crack Peatland first. That way, if we have a land off the top with Courser, we can play it. We've got some good attacks here if we find a kill spell too, so I guess we do crack the Peatland to start. Draw that Goyf. Okay, Fatal Push. Incoming, that's pretty good. Yeah, so I think we're just going to play out... I'm going to play out the Goyf for sure. Yeah, we're just going super wide here. Play out the Bob. Pass. What a nice value-oriented decision that proved to be. Okay. Shadow's attacking. We have the luxury of doing this. We're just going to throw the Bob in the way. Ooh, 2 more shadows. Yikes. Will the opponent sack the Ranger Captain? No, they will not. Alright. A painless flip. Nearly painless anyway off the Bob. So let's assume the last card in their hand is a Path to Exile. We push a Shadow, we attack all out. It's not lethal, we're dead on the crackback. One, two, three, 4 total creatures to eat with the Skoos. If we had another green source, we could actually threaten lethal here, but because we don't, we can't. Alright, Treetop Village is going to give us overwhelmingly lethal force next turn, so I think we just kind of keep going wide here, keep kind of hanging back, playing defense. Yeah. Opponent's got a Sculler, so we're going to respond by pushing a Shadow here. Which they did know about if they were paying attention, so they're just playing a bear, basically. Alright, so they've got 2 Shadows coming across here. I think we're supposed to just block one of them. And I don't think we're interested in a double block here. So yeah, we'll just chump again, this time with the extra Skoos we've got. Let's gain our life there. Guess we're going to Inquisition to begin. A Wraith, sure. Okay. So we attack, they block our 2 biggest things, and we have exactly lethal. Seems good to me. Alright, cool. Good game, well played. A nice interactive one right out of the gates. Lots of decision making. If I'm live recording, which I haven't done in a while, especially if I haven't done in a while, I sometimes feel I need to game day really get warmed up. So that was a bit of a tough test. I hope I navigated that one reasonably well. But against Mardu Shadow, so we know I'm not as high on Fulminator as I used to be against Grixis. But still viable. We do like Nile Spellbomb, probably just straight up want that. We already have one main, maybe not all three, but these cards are all pretty solid here. And then we'll consider those as well. So 5 rising to potentially 9, but I just don't know if we're going to want all 9 of those by any means. So obviously we'll consider at least consider trimming all the discard away. We're going to cut a land, and I suppose the land to cut here is Urborg. Alright, so everything else in our deck is looking real good here. Yeah, so I think realistically speaking, we only have 7 cards we want to cut. So I think Plague Engineer is a little bit worse than the second Spellbomb and the Planeswalker. So those are definitely in. Then we need 4 of these 6. So we could actually just play without Fulminator Mage here on the draw, and then we get to even leave a discard spell in, which I don't mind leaving one in for sure, especially on the draw. We get to play with all 3 spell bombs and all 4 plague men. I think that's the way to do it. I think that's pretty good. So, as mentioned, I'm not as high on Fulminator as I am against Grixis. The mana base just seems less fragile on Mardu. I don't know if that's actually true, but like the incremental value of Fulminator against Grixis is really nice to get around the permission, and it's not as necessary here, of course. This is a fine hand. We'll keep it. It's funny, when I'm not commentating, I am almost always ahead on the clock, but here, pretty clearly behind 4 minutes. Again, haven't done it in a while, a little rusty. So, yeah, we continue just having a handful of good threats. Once more, just like in Game 1, we'd much rather be on the play with a hand like that, especially. Like, if obviously play is pretty much better most of the time, no matter what's up, but if you have a more reactive hand, you can really talk yourself into it being just fine on the draw. But when you've just got like a pile of threats like this, yeah, we really want the play. But opponent hasn't made any plays to the board yet. All right, another Tarmogoyf. So we need to worry about getting blown out here by either Liliana or Plague Engineer. And the only thing, Bob gets blown out by both Lilianas and by a Plague Man. Tarmogoyf only gets blown out by Lily of the Veil. And even that's not that bad, because then we can follow it up with the Last Hope and buy it back, right? So, Goyf it is. Most draws are live here because, we need to hit more lands to turn on Field of Ruin, Corsair, and Nissa. And we, everything else in our deck, except I guess Kalitas, can be cast. So, as long as the opponent doesn't just curve out perfectly from here, our position's fine. There's their first of what are going to be many 2-for-1s, I'm sure. Ranger Captain. Okay, we do hit the 3rd land for Nurturing Peatland. So it's actually interesting here because we can shrink the Ranger Captain down to a 1-2 and then start attacking, but with no kill spells in hand for the Shadow that's coming down next turn, that obviously seems really loose. So I guess we have to play the Corsair. It worked out for us last game, started get accruing value, nice and early. And hey, look at that. We've got one. We've got a land. Granted, we're going to draw that for turn, but Okay, Sculler to clear the way. Well, we'll see we don't have a kill spell for Shadow. Hopefully we'll just simply draw one. But... Okay, they take away Nissa Vital Force. That's the big bomb of the hand, of course. Okay, Shadow and then another fetch, probably another Shadow or maybe discard, but... Ooh, Gurmag Angler. Wow, yikes. Goyf down to a 0-1. Okay. Okay, that was pretty good. Okay, so we're going to play that Verdant Catacombs off the top. We'll yield to that, and this lets us manipulate the top of our deck a little bit. So, yeah, we're in the market for a kill spell, there's no question. So let's fetch. Okay, there's a Lily of the Veil on the top. That's pretty good. So I guess our play this turn is to... Well, actually, I don't even know how good she is because their board is just so wide and they've got the Ranger Captain effect. And our Goyfs are tiny. That's a big issue. Goyfs are a little small. Yeah. We just need kill spells. We don't really have them. Guess we're going to play a Bob and Pass. We're, of course, going to crack the Peatland on the end step. Even that's not very good, though, because it's going to set us back on mana, and we need not only to hit good action, but we need good... Alright, they're sending both the goons in. Do we just take this hit one time? I think we kind of have to. Yeah, so Stone Raining ourselves here is going to be pretty bad, but I think it's the best play we had. Got another Ranger Captain, so now it's their turn to go really, really wide. And they're not even electing... Or maybe they will. Yeah, they will. Okay, they will play the other Shadow. Alright, here's where we kind of wish we left that Damnation in the deck. Okay, opponent sacking the Ranger Captain means we're pretty done. We kind of needed them to miss that, but they don't. Okay, we are dead. But we'll make them make the right attacks. And we might be able to chump and live for a turn, but... Yeah, I've only faced this Mardu version a few times, but it definitely seems tougher than Grixis. Opponent will Thoughtseize. There's nothing in our hand that they don't know about, so it would be interesting to scoop to conceal information in some instances here, but in this case it doesn't change anything. So we continue to make them play it out here. Okay, so we've got a chump with two. What? All right. What are our outs? I probably shouldn't spend too much time thinking about this because we just simply don't have any. What if we double block a Shadow with Goyf? Let's just try that. Let's just go for the highest upside play of actually, like, getting a kill here. Obviously, we get blown out by a removal spell, but we're not winning this game almost no matter what we do, right? So we just go for the highest possible upside here. Okay, I'm going to scoop to that Gideon, but hey, a little more info for us, so... Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, that was a real tough curve out to beat. Like I said, hey, if the opponent doesn't curve out perfectly from here, we could be okay, but they sure did. So, having seen that, I'm not really any more inclined to bring in Fulminator necessarily. Like, obviously it could be good in some windows, but... looking at the rest of our board, like... We need ways to trade off with the Shadows and the Anglers, and we've got all this removal, and Plague Man does that as, just as well as anything else. And pretty much everything else in our deck, is just better. Like, yes, we could cut the Inquisition now that we're on the play. We could maybe trim away a Spellbomb. That gets us 2 Fulminators. Are we supposed to do that? Maybe that's actually worth doing. Alright, talk myself into it. Feels a little weird to play only 2, not the full 3, but... but let's see how it goes. Taking the play here, oof, with a 1-lander. It's a pretty good 1-lander. But it just, yet again, doesn't have any kill spells. And it's kind of a mull with that Nissa there anyway, and only 1. So, yeah, let's mull. Alright, this is a pretty good keep. Unfortunately, the opponent has kept 7. But at least this time we have kill spells. And we've got the tracker to unmulligan us if they don't have discard, but it's very possible that they do. Hex Parasite. 1/1 for 1, you pay a Phyrexian mana and X, you remove up to X counters from target permanent. That buffs it till end of turn. Okay. Is there any world in which we want to push that to be mana efficient in case we curve out with threats? I don't think we're supposed to, but worth consideration. Okay, so opponent knows that we just drew a Scooz. Well, there we go. Drawing a 2-drop after we speculated on whether we should push, but... it's not like we're going to play tracker on 3 anyway, right? So this is fine. The Sculler. Yep. Pretty good. Yeah, they just tax the removal a lot with the Sculler to clear the way. Obviously, we can get it with the trophy, but that's not good on a couple different levels, really. We just draw another push off the top, though. That's pretty sweet. I don't think we're supposed to attack them, because I don't want to turn on Shadow yet. It's not like we have good attacks anyway without having to push main phase. So I'm pretty content to say go here. If they have a discard spell, I think we're going to push the Sculler, then push the Parasite, and just let the spell resolve after that. That'd be very annoying still, but there's only so much we can play around here. And I don't think we're supposed to crack the Peatland anytime soon. We really need to hit a 4th land to make tracker good. Okay, this is looking like a Ranger Captain to me. Or not, because double black. Fulminator Mage, sure. Alright, I'm going to push the Sculler. Now the question is, do we eat the Sculler? Our incentive to do so is that it's going to shrink the graveyard for Angler, and it's going to make Unearth worse. And it's mana efficient, but this gives them the all clear to use Fulminator. But, you know, if they want to spend a card to Stone Rain us, I guess that's okay with us. And turns out they don't. And we draw a land. Beautiful. Alright. So do we believe in our ability to outgrind them if we just keep playing slow? I think so. Therefore, we're going to do all this main phase and no attacks. Got to be really careful playing around the Parasite here because both of our things get counters. They do need some mana, though. They need however much mana they have, they want to take the counters off of, plus they pay a Phyrexian mana. Okay, so Fulminator, this is a bait attack, because then we can block with the Scoos, they'll take the counter off of Parasite, so we just take the hit. Maybe they'll sack it here to kill our Peatland, I don't know. Yep. Tapping Mardu colors. Whoa. K command, buying back Fulminator Mage, killing Tracker. That's good. That's a good one. That's a real good one. Man, and we top deck a land, that sucks. Alright, so is it time to begin racing? I think so. Now that they've kind of caught back up with some good value plays, I think it's time to race. So we cannot hold up Trophy and Push unless we Shock in the Tomb. So Shocking in the Tomb allows us to hold up everything well, including a Clue activation here. It is actually a nice opportunity to field their clearing as well. But if we're doing that, then we're going to be really sad if they have a Sculler or a discard spell, so I think we pass. I think we've got enough to do here. Okay, they immediately crack the clearing. Basic plains, yeah, they could be pretty well flooded here. Alright, so we have to let this resolve. because if you respond to the trigger, you just lose the card permanently. That's how Tide Hollow Sculler works. They're attacking with the Parasite. Sure. This might mean they've got a kill spell. They've got a Shadow, okay. I'm gonna crack a clue here. We draw Fulminator. Alright. Trophy the Sculler, get our pushback, then take our turn. They get to go get a Swamp here for the Parasite, which is a little annoying. But we draw Lily of the Veil, nice. Alright, push your Shadow. Liliana Edict. Oh, yeah, opponent clicked through it. Yep, I was going to say, yeah, okay. So we dodged a bullet there. Opponent, of course, had the opportunity to activate Hex Parasite on either Liliana, presumably that'd be the target, or Skooz. And I do think we have to attack now at this point. Yes, they could have more shadows. Yes, that makes them bigger, but that's reimbursement, opponent says. Yep, reimbursement for the misclick, definitely. Definitely would be nice. Oh, then they have to spend a purge on Lily, so yeah, that was very good for us. Then they've got another Fulminator, as we knew about, in the land. Okay. Okay, so we draw Bob, huh? We draw Bob. So there's enough creatures in the graveyard that they have to chump here with Fulminator. Unless that last card is a removal spell. Yeah, okay. Alright, so we're going to spend the field in response. Take care of their silent clearing, which is actually quite nice. And then we get to play our Bobby. Alright, so our position's good, but the opponent's got one unknown in hand. You get the sense they might be flooded, but you never know. Could be another slightly clunky thing, like another Fulminator. Of course, the top deck, the draw step, whatever that's going to be, is alive as well. Ooh, cycling the Street Wraith, okay. Ranger Captain of Eos. Oh, brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Such a good card. It's unbelievable in this deck. But we're drawing two. Let's put them away right here. What are we going to find? Nurturing Peatland and another land. Not very good, but we'll crack the Peatland. Nile Spellbomb. Okay. Also not very good right here. But we could... Nah, okay. We could crack it right now hoping for exactly Fatal Push. Instead, we're just going to play it. We're just going to pass. We're going to trust in the ability of our deck to grind them out over the next couple turns with this Bob on the field. But yeah, that was a nice find for the opponent there. Yeah, we're not going to take a block. We've got life gain with Scoos. What now? What have they found now? Another Fulminator. Sure, that's not too bad, but it's action, you know? Hey, I think we were correct with the read on them having another Fulminator in hand. Is there any reason we want to crack Spellbomb before this resolves? Plays around Ranger Captain better. But I don't think we will. Just use our Scoos. Plague Engineer off of Bob, and then another land. Yeah. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay. So, we can only play one of the two this turn. So, let's say we play Fulminator, we plan to chump block. They've got a chump block right here, right now as well. Alright, let's attack with you, see what they do. I'm sure they're just going to block and sack with Fulmy. Alright, now we're forcing the opponent to draw still more gas off the top here, which they could. They could. This is really intense. Oh my god, they top deck Gideon? Are you serious? Oh no, this is savage. Last card is, what, a path? Oh my goodness. Yep, you got us. We're in some deep trouble now, guys. We're in some deep trouble now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Rips. Opponent's not even attacking, because now they've got the inevitability. What do we need off the top? Another Nile Spellbomb is probably not it. So let's begin by cracking the one we've got. Taking away some Scoos targets, but that's not the name of the game any longer. Okay, Kalitas. It's pretty good. Just gotta play quick now. There's only 3 minutes left on the clock. We're just playing stuff out, passing. Oh, this is so intense. I really need the opponent to brick here. That'd be great. No, what'd they find? Another path? You serious? You... Oh, come on. Unreal. This is unreal. Now we're just dead to the Gideon Amulet. Oh, my God. Yep. They literally ripped the nuts. As soon as we were into top deck mode, as soon as they missed the Hex Parasite activation, we had the upper hand. And they just never stopped ripping really good stuff, beginning with a Ranger Captain. Man, that sucks. That really, really, really sucks. Well, there goes our hopes and dreams for the 5-0. And that took like my whole clock too. I hate playing games that are so long and we just get out top decked right at the end. Brutal, my friends. Brutality. But that's alright. We saw the Courser looking pretty good there. This is a fact-finding mission as much as anything else, and yeah, what more can you say? Alright, we're here for round 2. Sure. Yep, we curve out pretty well here, assuming Abrupt Decay is a live card. Welding Jar. Well, not so live against Welding Jar. Trades with it, but doesn't trade with what we want it to trade with. So we are against Hardened Scales Affinity. And we draw another tracker. That's a pretty bad draw. We've got stuff to do, but we really need to draw more interaction. One tracker is about as many as you'd want to see in this matchup. Man, I can't believe we just lost that one. Oh boy, oh boy. Now they found the Hardened Scales. Interesting. That was clearly the top deck in my view. Okay, Liliana of the Veil, huh? It's actually a pretty good time for her. She's not the very best in this matchup at all, but actually seems like a pretty good time to play her. Or we could decay the Hardened Scales. Obviously, that's a pretty significant piece of their game plan. Maybe we just kind of have to do that. Yeah, I guess we gotta decay the scales. So we'll let them cast something first here. Well, Walking Ballista is still good against us, even if it doesn't get the counters, because it can trade with Bob. Will it? Interesting question. They won't. All right, we flip a swamp. And we draw Peatland, so I think we've got to play the Liliana here. We just need to start removing their stuff. We don't want to let them untap with the Ballista. And get the 4th land, get another counter on it. That would just be pretty tough to beat. And, you know, even if they sack a land here, that sets them back on a land, so they can't put another counter on this Ballista. It's rare that yeah, okay, I was going to say they probably just have to trade it off, and they trade it with the Lily instead of the Bob. Interesting. All right, well, we're going to continue doing Bob stuff then for the foreseeable future. And next turn we're going to go tracker, make 2 clues, and hopefully we'll have some interaction that we've drawn beyond that. That'd be great. That'd be really good. We really need it. Hangerback Walker, Arcbound Ravager. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Alright, Bob, show us the love. More lands. Plague Engineer. Hello. Construct and Beast. Okay. Let's think about this one. And, of course, Blink Moth is always a consideration. But... I think we need to just play the Plague Man naming Construct. It feels bad, but, like, we cannot get the Ravager. Even though we got them tapped out, they just sack one of these artifacts from the backline. So if we're... But we're pretty priced into playing the Plague Man anyway. Yeah, we just have to name Construct here, so let's crack a land first, I guess. See what else we can find. A Scooz, sure. And they do have to decide now, because Plague Man says as, not when. It's not a triggered ability. Once we name it, they get to respond to that. That's not how it works. So we do have to make them decide right now. And for that reason, it could have actually been interesting to not crack the Peat land beforehand. So we were bluffing more, just confusing their decision a little bit more, but shouldn't really change what they do here, I guess, right? Opponent in the tank, what you gonna do when the Plague Man comes for you? That's the question. Okay, they're sacking the Hanger back. Alright. So now, we don't have to name Construct. Ooh, they're just gonna gobble up the Thopter too. So now what we do is name Blink Moth, so they cannot animate. And then we just have to deal with the Fat Ravager plus whatever's in their hand, which admittedly is still a lot to deal with, because we haven't been able to really draw interaction this game. We're pretty flooded, and we've got slow, grindy threats, but Plague Man was really nice there. Forced them into a suboptimal play. Relative to what they'd like to do, right? They want to keep their options open, but instead they kind of had to go all in on the Rav. Okay, another Walking Ballista. And another Ravager. Oof. Oof. Not good. Now, what point do they decide that they should kill this Bob before he finds action? That's what I want to know. Alright, I think we're just taking this one hit here. But yeah, those are some really good remaining cards for them to have. Now we just need to keep drawing, like, pushes and trophies and so on and so forth. But okay, so they are going for it, and that's bad for us. That's very bad for us. They can gun down this whole board. But they're not going to quite yet. Alright, we draw Fatal Push. It's cool, I guess. We don't need to get an untapped land here, but doing so bluffs a little bit better. It bluffs that, like, we have nothing to do besides the clue. It bluffs, trophy. or a double push even at bluffs, so that's why we do it that way, even though technically it'd be better value to go get the second tomb out of our deck tapped. And another Hardened Scales. Oh my god, this league, our opponents are ripping all the stuff. Throne of Geth, sure. At this point, they have a lot of different ways to beat us, so we're just kind of like playing reactively. And now at this point, have we been forced into action? Do we have to push something? And if so, what should it be? I mean, they have the welding jar, so it kind of doesn't matter. So I guess we're just gonna do neither. Pretty rough, though. Pretty rough curve out from the opponent. Ballista taking care of the Plague Man. Alright, we'll crack a clue here. And they play around it with the Pendelhaven, that's nice. Pretty annoying for us, but all right, so we need oh wow. Yeah, okay, they just got us. Yeah, fair enough. I guess playing Fatal Push maybe means we tap one of them out so they don't do the damage in combat, right? But I don't believe that changes the math here. I think if they just do go all in, and maybe for that reason we're not supposed to crack the clue. Maybe we're just supposed to not let them go all in that turn. I don't really know. I don't think we were beating them anyway. We just had very little in hand. So some of this grindy stuff is probably not the very best. We don't really need this Nile Spellbomb either. Our main deck is definitely not configured to fight this deck. That is beyond question, right? But we do have a couple oofs to bring in that are pretty awesome. Plague Engineers, Liliana the Last Hope, pretty awesome. We like Brutality. And Fulminator Mage, actually, much like the previous matchup, is kind of a role player that kind of depends on what else comes out. Do we want to cut all 8 of these cards? Alright, what are the worst of these? I think 3 Liliana, Spellbomb, and at least 1 Tracker. Those are the worst. We'll bring in these 6. Maybe we could even move away from a Skooz. It really is just a question of how highly do we rate Fulminator compared to Tracker, Courser, and a 1-of Lily. I kind of like the 1-of Lily on the play. We'll cut Courser. So our list would look like this if we played without Fulminator. Which I think is fine, because a big appeal to Fulminator Mage is, of course, destroying the Nexi, but we have 4 copies of Plague Engineer now. Plus we have Fields of Ruin. I don't think we really need Fulminator in this matchup. And we'll just stay more threat-heavy. Another one-lander. Another great one-lander. Well, can't keep the one-lander on the play. And we'll keep this 6. It's a great 6. And in fact, it's so great I think we should bottom a land. And just try to draw the 3rd land. I'm going to bottom Peat land because our life total matters. And we're not cracking it anytime soon. Inquisition, we see double Forest, double Throne of Geth, Opal, Walker, Worker. Alright. So taking the Walker as the value. I guess we're doing that. There is an argument for taking Worker so we can more easily curve out, but their hand is pretty low on beef. It's pretty low on power. And we do have Abrupt Decay to kill the Worker if we want to, but I'm thinking we're going to play the Tarmogoyf next turn. We'll see if they do anything else that we don't know about yet. Or we'll see if we draw anything more appealing. We draw Thoughtseize. Awkwardly timed. Very awkwardly timed and very annoying that we don't have the third land yet. I think we're still playing Goyf. But we could get punished for this in a few different ways. But we kind of want to hope they didn't hit another threat here. Welding Jar. Ancient Stirrings. Okay. Okay. Where's our oof? Where's our oof? They find a Ravager. Alright, and they get to play it because Mox Opal is live. How? Ooh, wow. Oof. We summoned him and there he came. Alright. Well, I think we just got to play the oof and hope it's good enough. Hope they don't find removal on top of everything else they've found here. Okay, so they can't activate anything. So Modular is not an activated ability, though. We'll attack with a Goyf. Regardless. Nice top deck for us. So they've found Pendelhaven. They've got 2 Thrones of Geth in hand. And we're not blocking to get blown up by the Pendelhaven, so sure. Hit us for 2. 3. Excuse me, 3. Okay. Alright, now we need that third land. There it is. Beautiful. So we can Thoughtseize the Throne of Geth. Or we can just play Lily the Last Hope. But we could Thoughtseize and Decay. But if they find an out to the oof, then we will be sorry that we didn't get the kill while we could, right? On Arcbound Ravagers, so either way, we pressed into killing the Ravager this turn. I'm just going to play the Last Hope. Don't care about the Throne of Geth, really. And look at the youth getting busy on the attack. I love it. We also assume that they cannot... Yeah, maybe there are actually a lot of draws where they can... Oh, they found a Dismember? They found a Dismember. Yikes. Man! Right on cue there, the opponents are drawing what they need this league so far. It's still a young league. But... And now they get to just do absolutely everything. How punished can we get, right? Because now the fact that we didn't take away that second Throne of Geth is actually a huge problem with our Thoughtseize last turn. Oh, man. This kind of sucks, but you know what? It's alright, because we still have the Goyf on the field. And Tracker is actually a fine draw here. It's a reasonable draw, because they're at such a low life total that we just simply can use it as a Balduvian Barbarians and hopefully end this game, but opponent looks like they came really close to getting out of it, and to be fair, they still could if they hit the right top deck here. Why do I say these things out loud? They rip the hangerback walker. What better way to stay in the game than a hangerback walker? Really, what better way? I don't think there is one. Alright, so drawing Maelstrom Pulse is pretty good. If we... We can't really attack with Tracker because then they just... Yeah. They have good blocks that way. So we've got to... Just attack with Goyf, see what they do. I can't believe they're ripping the stuff to stay in the game. It's really unbelievable. We've got the Decay here, of course. They call our bluff with the double block. It's not great. And actually, for that reason, yeah, maybe we should have attacked with a Tracker just to take the double block off the table. Yeah, I think we should have been attacking with a Tracker here too. This is alright though, this is reasonable. Alright, so opponent didn't proliferate. I kind of thought they would, and... Okay, they find Hardened Scales. Yeah, sure. Alright, so now on step we decay the worker. They'll regenerate it, but it's tapped. Now we untap and pulse the Thopter. It's not... Ooh, or we Plague Man the Thopter. That's more stylish. Alright, so... That attack with the Goyf may be a little bit questionable to not have done something main phase, but we are able to... Wow, okay, Pendelhaven. Not on my game today, guys. Not on my game at all. I clearly should have just pulsed the Thopter. Got too excited with the Plague Man. Again, we should still get there. There's just no way we don't, basically, but we're giving the opponent too many outs here. Yeah, we forced them to cash in the Arcbound worker. That is fine. Just keeping the board clear this way. But yeah, that was a truly bad play. Doesn't matter because we've got the pulse and they finally top decked a brick. But that is not what we should have done, clearly. Oh no. Arcbound Ravager. Sure. Hey, we draw Fatal Push. Alright. Alright, we are getting the parade of removal we need. Okay, we got there. No thanks to me playing the Plague Man over the Pulse. That was just, you know, I'm a little conscious now of how long I took on game one and how rusty I am live commentating while playing. It's been mostly replays lately, so trying to rush through things a little bit, and that proved to be costly, nearly, but still got there. So, on the draw, Lily of the Veil looks worse, but do we have anything that kind of outcompetes her in that slot? We are pretty threat dense. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, we've got a ton of threats. I don't think we need to bring back Courser or Tracker. The only question is Fulminator Mage, right? But I think for the aforementioned reasons why we didn't bring him in the first place, we're just going to stick with it as is. Keep playing that one of Lily on it. It's really not that bad in the right window. And no, she won't rescue us, but alright. Well, it's a 7 that functions with a lot of good cards. So it really hurts that we don't have we haven't had much early discard in these games. And we also have not Welding Jar, Nexus. We also have not really had great curve outs in any of these games, but you know, this hand could really get us there. We hope. Another Plague Engineer, sure. Our best draw there, though, would have been Inquisition. We hope they don't have a kill spell for Oof. If they don't have a kill spell for Oof, we're going to lock down a lot of their effects with the Oof, and then our removal and our Plague Men are going to be excellent. If they do have a kill spell for Oof, it's going to be very interesting. So, since they have the Welding Jar on the field, we draw the Inquisition. So, just a little bit behind. Okay. The problem is we have, like, all 3 drops in hand. So, while a big part of me wants to say, let's Inquisition now, and then play the Oof next turn after protecting it, I don't think we can afford to, because we drew this card a turn too late. Again, if we drew that last turn, we're golden. So now I think we have to play the Oof, and we have to assume they don't have a kill spell for it. Because, like, it's very possible that they could turn 3 us if we don't Oof right here, right? Now, maybe they have the kill spell, and then maybe we're going to be in big trouble, because they have a really good start. Otherwise, but, you know, Ancient Stirrings finds a Mox Opal. Okay, doesn't do anything right now. Okay, no kill spell. No kill spell. So what does that make us want to do? Is it Plague Man time? I think it is. So we got Construct, we got Beast. I think we have to just get the Ravager off the field right now. And of course that's better against the modular trigger anyway. To speak more clearly, they get basically that death trigger. They get it either way, unless we have a Cletus on the field, which we don't. So it's modular one way, modular the other. Stirrings is only going to find Forest. That's not bad at all. Once again, we're just trying to fade the kill spells, and it looks like they don't have them. So just playing a 1-1 Walking Ballista, not very great. It's another Construct as well, so we can open it up for another Plague Man here if we want to. Or we can go, we can Inquisition and then do anything. Only thing that doesn't let us do is Decay and Trophy, but I don't think we'll need to. So, yeah, now's a fine time for an Inquisition. Another Welding Jar and a Throne of Geth. What is worse? I guess Throne of Geth is worse. if they find an out to our stuff. So sure, we'll leave them with another welding jar. And then I think we're just playing another Plague Man naming construct. And now we're free to attack, which is one reason we did that. Alright, we've got all the hate pieces going our way this game. Feels great. As always, we're just hoping to fade the removal. And even if they find removal now at this stage of the game, we've gotten so much value. Like, they kind of have to remove the oof, and then it's just double Plague Man on the field. We got him. Sweet. Alright, cool. So, Collector Oof. Very nice. Helped us win both post-side games there. Felt like we were in a rough stretch of luck with our opponents. The power of our opponents' top decks at the end of match 1 and the beginning of match 2. Including into Game 2, Match 2, where we won. But after, fighting through some tough progressions, having to deal with mulligans and less than optimal progressions on our end, we did see a lot of hate there in Games 2 and 3. We saw the oofs, we saw the Plague Men, and it was good. Awkward hand, because it doesn't have double black for Liliana, despite having 4 lands. Perhaps the choice of a second treetop coming back to haunt us. Nevertheless, we keep. It's a fine hand in a blind game 1. That's all we can really hope for. Snow-covered forest birds of paradise. Looking like a 4-color Saheeli deck to me. Or it could be like Ponza with Blood Moon. Either way, excuse me. Either way, we got a Bolt Bird. All right. So I actually, if they have Blood Moon, I don't want them to play it. Really don't want them to play Blood Moon next turn. So I'm going to show them Basic Forest, which might make them say, oh, they're already playing around Blood Moon a bit. Let's do something else with our turn 3. Because we really want the Liliana this game. And if we get locked out of black by Blood Moon, we just have to hope to draw 2 swamps. Obviously pretty bad odds of that. So, the opponent might not even be on Blood Moon, but we just got to worry about that. In case they are, right? Some of these decks play Path to Exile and Blood Moon, which just seems terrible. Obviously, I understand you can sequence around that if you want to, but still doesn't seem very good to me. Blood Moon in general, not that well positioned right now. Opponent's got the Quattle, and it needs 3 other snow permanents, so if they have another basic to play, which they do, that thing's got Death Touch, so heads up. Okay, Prismatic Vista. Meddling Mage. Ooh, okay. Meddling Mage, very unexpected. They named Liliana. Wow. We draw Kalitas, that's pretty cool. Alright, definitely in the mood to attack here. But I don't think I'm going to activate unless, of course, they block. Because the point of life shouldn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. And this allows us to get our treetop down while holding up trophy, or indeed holding up 2 activations in case that should matter. Noble Hierarch, you got it. Okay, once more, this is not looking as much like Saheeli, like 4-color copycat. This looks just like Bant Snow Midrange. So we're respecting what they could possibly have, but we're not going too crazy about it. Yeah, I guess we're just going to eat the birds and play Kalitas here. I don't know if eating their lands matters at all. I doubt it. But since they have a couple in there, we'll just eat one of them. We'll eat the Misty. Yeah, they could play like Eternal Witness and stuff. So there's an argument for leaving one there to keep our Goyf big. Ooh, Inquisition. These Inquisitions are like a turn behind. I would have snapcast an Inquisition last turn. So I think it's still correct to cast it here. We wanted to cast Kalitas this turn, but I think we got an Inquisition here. And we could get a path out of their hand and... Okay, yeah, so they do have a path. Sure. Alright, so opponent's flooded. Nothing else really going on. The big question is... Alright, yeah, we're going to Shock in the Tomb. This defends along the ground, in theory, with Treetop. It's really unfortunate that we couldn't, like, get them with the Canopy unable to be activated with our field or anything like that, and that our Inquisition whiffed. We're pretty punished for that, except we did draw out the path, right? We drew out the path. I think I'm going to trophy this Meddling Mage here, because it's starting to hit for a lot. And also to unlock our Liliana. Okay, another Lily, sure. So we could actually play 2 Lilies this turn, which isn't half bad, but I think we're still supposed to play the Kalitas here. This makes our Lilianas actively awesome, assuming they don't have another path or a different way to deal with Kalitas. Whereas the Lilianas are pretty mediocre against the Coatl double Hierarch board otherwise. So we want to fade, like, Path, or who knows, you know, they're playing Meddling Mage here. Maybe they're on, like, Reflector Mage, too. That'd be pretty annoying, but... Alright, opponent might be flooded. Nurturing Peatland, sure. That actually is necessary for us to cast another Lily this turn, so that's pretty cool. In addition to being a pretty live draw overall. Oh, do they have Spell Queller here? Or what are we about to see? Might be a Queller. Another Coatl. Alright. The sequencing here leads me to believe, though, that they might have Queller in the deck, so that's kind of interesting to note. Yeah, I think we just play the other Lily here. We know she's going to resolve. We know she's got some value to be generated here. We know Kalitas is going to stick around for the duration of the turn. If any of those things weren't true, we would already know about them. Unfortunately, the Coatl is walling off the Kalitas attack, but that's alright, because they don't line up well against our zombies. So... now we're forcing the opponent to have some good stuff here. We've got the redraw on the field with Peatland. We've got You know, if they ever happen to tap out, we can nab their Ghost Quarter with our field and protect our Treetop Village. So, lots to like here, lots to like. Another Hierarch, sure. So they're going to finish off Liliana, I guess? Yes. Makes sense. Okay, opponent's looking flooded. Let's draw another... Well, we draw Fatal Push, sure. That's actually great. But we're going to crack Peatland first. Plague Engineer, even better. Oh my god, the main deck Plague Man. I think we should name Snake. What about you guys? Oh, the Plague Man. The Plague Man. Alright, we connect. Beautiful. Yeah, that one felt good. That one felt really good. Rewarded for cracking the Peatland actively. Not that there's any real reason not to, but... Jeez, guys. Main deck Kalidas, main deck Plague Man. Granted, this is a good matchup for that type of thing, but... That was good. Yeah, opponent shows us double lands. Unfortunate. GG, well played. Alright, cool. Well, we're against a ton of grindy decks here. I mean, Hardened Scales is not strictly a grindy deck, of course, but it can grind, and it did. And this is a strictly grindy deck. Looks like Bant Midrange with a snow sub-theme, so I guess we are mostly, until we see any reason not to, just siding as though it's a mid-range matchup, which we only have these 4 cards for. Again, I did mention in Game 1 they could be on Eternal Witness, but we haven't seen it. I don't think we're going to play with Spell Bombs until we do. So what does our deck look like if we bring in these 4? What cards do we want to take out? I think we can cut a land once again, and should either be Urborg or Blooming Marsh, and I'm actually leaning toward Blooming Marsh. Maybe we just cut like 2 discard spells and call that good. Fulminator's not good here, even though it's a mid-range matchup. They play too many basics and too many mana dorks, right? On the other hand, Collective Brutality, even though it's not really a mid-range card, is definitely decent. So, yeah, let's say we cut those 2. Let's say we don't want anything else. 3 cards to cut. I'm pretty comfortable moving away from 1 Scooz and then just 2 discard spells. Should we hedge with 1 of each Inquisition and Thoughtseize? I think that's pretty fine. They didn't really show us anything over CMC4. But then again, they don't pressure our life total all that well, I guess. So we can hedge. Be pretty happy with it till we see more of the deck. Alright, cool. Opponent will keep 7. We, for the 3rd round running, and Game 2 have to mulligan a 1-lander. Definite mull. This hand is excruciatingly slow, but I guess we're going to keep it. I'm just not sure what card to bottom, really. I guess Plague Engineer is the redundant one. Well, let's bottom a Plague Man, but I don't know what's up with these terrible opening hands we're getting for most of this league. That said, it's going to be a grindy game. It's going to be a long game, so I'm going to run out the Catacombs there, even though it's better to save the Catacombs for Tracker. On average, here we drew another Field of Ruin, so we are going to be tapping our Peatland, it seems, for colorless mana a good amount of the time. Therefore, I want to painlessly get a dual land here, because it looks like we need it. We draw Push. Sure. Okay, no turn 2 Coatl. That's good. That would be annoying to have that start pressuring us early and smoothing out their draws and so forth. What we kind of hope is that they drew like a Mana Dork behind schedule and then have to play it here. We can trade with it. That would have been ideal, but they don't, and that's fine. We draw a Forest. Again, not very good. I think we're just going to run out our last hope here and start ticking her up. We don't want to expose Tracker to their path, which I'm sure they have given how reactive they've been playing. I don't think we want the Plague Man to come down. Like, we want a guaranteed kill with the Plague Man. So, and once again, they could just, like, let it resolve, then path it. So, I think last hope here is the thing to do. Maybe they do have Spell Queller. We speculated on it a couple times in Game 1. Yeah, they sure do. All right. Yeah, that's very annoying. Punishes us severely for having such a dirtily hand, but we do have answers to it. But if they just have a parade of Quellers, that's just pretty bad. And we draw a Forest, huh? We draw a Forest. Alright, we're going to play for the long game. We're going to try a Tracker here. Even though it's bad against Queller, especially because we have Forests here. Like, if we just had a Swamp and then they're going to path our Tracker, we could push the Queller, it'd be great. But our draws have been bad. But again, there's no need to panic. We got to play for the mid to late game. And therefore, instead of trying to like field or peatland for Revolt and try to main phase push the Queller, that could be a disaster. We did get some guaranteed value here. We got the value, we got the Tracker. That is nice. This opponent on Collected Company, they sure are. Yeah, I didn't know that either, but maybe now we can bring in our Grafdigger's Cage if they take us to Game 3. Company into double Coatl. Well, that's extremely value positive for the opponent. The good news is we do have the Plague Man in hand. Just kind of hope they don't have another Queller or another Coco. 4 Queller, right? GQ. Should turn off my auto yields in case they GQ. Alright, they won't. That's Gideon, sure. Gideon's very good, but okay, Birds of Paradise, you got it. Okay, Collective Brutality. So what on earth do we do here? So, we have an awkwardly low amount of black mana. We can Plague Man and Brutality, or we can Plague Man and push. The extra mana spared doesn't really do anything. We even have to spend the life to get it. So, needless to say, that's pretty bad. We can also crack a Clue to get Revolt with 2 mana. Then we can push the Queller. We can tick up killing a bird. We can Brutality the Knight. And then we can put Gideon to 1. Or no, we'd be killing Gideon if we crack the Clue. Alright, I guess we're just going to begin by cracking the Clue. Looks like we're not Plague Manning this turn, but I think that's okay. Lily of the Veil, sure. Well, we'll push your Queller. We'll kill your birds. And then I think we're supposed to escalate this Brutality. And we gotta check the hand. So kill your knight, check your hand. Pitching field. Whiff. And they have a extremely value-heavy hand. Well, that sucks. That really just sucks. But this was still a good turn anyway. But man, that's brutal. I guess their best play is probably Ewit to buy something back. And then Meddling Mage blind naming maybe Liliana, which they did game 1. Can't believe they have so much gas in hand. Or, of course, if they draw a land for a turn, they could play Tracker into land. But no, looks like they didn't. Maybe they'll go Witness buy back a land to set up the Tracker. But now they're just buying back the Coco. I mean, that definitely makes sense, too. And then I guess the play would be probably Meddling Mage. Unless they drew something better. And we're definitely going on the Plague Man plan. And we can clear the whole board out if they, minus what they play here if it's the Meddler. Okay, don't name Plague Engineer, actually. That would be rough if they named Plague Man. Fatal Push. All right, we can beat them that. We can beat that name. So, Plague Man naming Snake. Tick up, kill your Witness. I think we kind of need to, well, I've got double Tracker in hand. Yeah, I'm actually going to attack. They've got a Coco in hand as well. I'm going to crack the clue here. We're playing for the higher upside here of a land. We don't hit it. Okay, they've got birds, they've got a Coco, they've got one unknown. So they're passing, holding up the company. Sure, makes sense. Let's kill your bird. If we play Liliana, it will draw out a company. You know what? I think Skoos is higher value. I kind of just want to play out the Skoos here. Start stabilizing. Maybe this will draw out the company. And then we get to resolve a Lily for sure. Through the possible Spell Queller. If not, they might not be sure whether this is bait or not. But this is actually the card that I value a little bit more highly. So sure, they're going to company. And it makes sense to company now. They could hit a Witness to play around our Skoos. They could, of course, just quell it. But they hit Noble Hierarch and nothing else. Oh my goodness. That's nice. So now what do we want to do? Now I think we're attacking for sure with the Tracker, maybe with both. Yeah, I'm attacking with both. Okay. Trade-off is fine. And then we're going to Liliana Edict. Could also have really ticked her up, but... Yeah, maybe we could have ticked her up because we... Oh, and they have another snake, so we're pretty punished for that decision last turn. I didn't think they were that likely to have another snake because they already had two. I guess they're on the full 4, probably, but even so, you know, seeing the third one in the top third of their deck or so, not very likely. So I'm fine with that overall. It does unlock our fatal pushes as well. We have more pushes left in the deck than they have coatls, right? Opponent says GG. Alright, looks like it was good enough. GG, well played, and we advance, my friends. We advance to 2-1 in the league. Just getting the 3-0 status sniped out from under us by that really crazy progression from Mardu Shadow in Game 1. But the deck has looked strong since then. It looked fine in that matchup, but it looked really strong against Hardened skills post-side, and we pretty comfortably outground that Bant deck. These are a lot of tough matchups we're facing, too, by the way. We haven't really faced the decks that we're geared for. So I'm calling it good thus far as the deck's performance is concerned. Opponent's down to 5. All right. Maybe we're running into one of the more linear decks of the format, finally. Which is what we're a little bit more geared toward. Admittedly, this hand is not. This hand is, we'd be thrilled to be against a fair deck with this hand and with the fact that they mulled to 5. If it's Tron, we've got the trophy. If it's Dragger Hogak, we don't have much. If they're a fair deck that mulled to 5, we're in great shape. Turn 1 Ghost Quarter and pass. Alright. Thought sees you. It's Amulet Titan. So they've got an Azusa and a Pact. And Celestia Sanctuary Bajuka Bog. Okay. Think we're just taking the Azusa there. Alright, so a big mana deck. I'm not going to take away the lands from here because they're just kind of... They're going to be in and out of the hand. Spellbomb is a pretty poor draw, but at least it's a redraw. So if they have another Azusa, like if they just go all in, they just packed for an Azusa here, we can get Revolt with Spellbomb. We won't get the draw, but we can get Revolt. We can push her in response to the first ETB trigger of the first dual land they play, if that's the play. I doubt it is, but if it is, then that's what we can do. If it's not, then we can just crack the Spellbomb for a redraw. They are pacting for Azusa. Okay, this could be good for us. Sure. Okay, so what's the first land you're going to play? Gemstone Mine. So they played something without an ETB. That's annoying. We're still going to do this. So that's kind of a nifty little way to get Revolt, where we would not otherwise have it. Of course, we could have trophied her, held up mana for trophy, but that's not very good against a deck that actively wants to be ramped. And now, unfortunately, they do have enough. Like, if they didn't play that Gemstone Mine first, we could have stopped them from pacting this turn with a Field of Ruin. Paying for the pact, I mean. And that would have been great. Do we still want to field this turn, or do we just play Tracker? I think we're just going to play Tracker. It's a little awkward, admittedly, to play Tracker, though, because none of our lands here are great. Because we don't want to show them the field, especially because they have GQ. We don't want to use our fetch right away, because that represents double clues with Tracker, and Urborg actually could make their mana a little bit better, depending on what they have going on. At least it lets them, you know, it's better with Gemstone Mine, but we're still going to go for it. We're still going to go Tracker here. This is also bad if they... Well, I mean, they can't do anything really this turn, I guess. Having to pay for the Pact. Yeah, so we just want to be proactive there. Well, the opponent can find an Ancient Stirring, so that makes their turn mana efficient. For Field of the Dead, it's actually a very good card against us. We draw Lily of the Veil. It's pretty cool. So are we at the point where we want to hit Field of the Dead with our Field of Ruin? Or are we supposed to use Field at all? Maybe we're just supposed to play Liliana this turn. But I don't think we have to. I don't think we can play Lily this turn because we don't want to tick up. We've got too much good stuff to do. If you control 7 or more lands with different names. Alright, so we're going to play the field. I think we are just going to attack their dual lands here, but it is very tempting to attack field. And the question is, do we want to... Yeah, I think we're supposed to trophy a land as well as field a land. Therefore, we won't do anything right here. We'll wait till the draw step. Alright, let's hope this is enough to slow them down to let Liliana get really good here and let Tracker just keep going with the mana sync ability, the clock, all that good stuff. Obviously, they've got a lot of good draws still, ways to extend the game. Bojuka Bog, very nice main deck tool against us, but... Alright, so now's our chance to Liliana. Asymmetrically. Wow, I just blanked on my words for a long moment there, my friend. So we'll do that. We've got a million clues to start cracking. And we get another land out of their hand. Even if they have Titan as their last card, they now need to top deck a land that's untapped to play it this turn. And if they don't, we're in pretty good shape. It's always a little sketchy. They do have land number 6. Looks like they just have another land in hand. Alright, so another land is actually an okay draw here for us. Alright, so they're empty-handed. Time to start cracking our clues. Plague Engineer. Don't think we care about that one. I think it's better to crack a clue, let's put it that way. Alright. Nothing else to do but to make the Tireless Tracker massive. Hit you for 8 and pass. What did opponent find? Engineered Explosives on 3 would be one of their best draws. Looks like maybe they just top decked a Titan. That's pretty good, but you know what plays around the plant token they're probably about to get to play around our Edict is the Plague Man. Or just having 2 Lilianas, that helps too. But if they go get Colony Garden, then, of course, Plague Man naming Plant is going to be the way we win this game, which is going to be pretty spicy. But, you know, who knows? Amulet Titan players, they really like to play a bunch of spicy one-ofs, and as far as the lands go in their deck a lot of the time. So who on earth knows what they could have here? What they think their best way to try to stay in this game is. Sideboarding is always a little tricky against Amulet because, in my opinion, a lot of our cards are not clear ins or outs. I think you want to be hedged post-side. Like, you don't want to cut all Fatal Pushes because, as we see, like, being able to kill an Azusa early is really nice. Things like that. And, you know, same applies to Abrupt Decay. Same even applies to, like, Plague Engineer and Tireless Tracker. Like, how good are both? How good is each respective one? It's really difficult to evaluate. Things just aren't that clear cut, I guess is the point. Okay, so they copy Bajuka Bog and Field of the Dead. I did not account for Field of the Dead. That's pretty good. So that definitely helps them stay in this game. Yeah, wow. Wow, the field value is unreal. Alright, I guess we're priced into cracking a clue first. We got Assassin's Trophy. Well, that's a good draw. All right. It's worth noting that we can leave these fetches uncracked, and usually it will be better to do so, but we want to actively crack them this game because of Tracker. But all right, so let's Trophy the Titan. They probably have another basic to get. They make another zombie. That's all very annoying. But we're going to name Plague Man. We're going to name Zombie with Plague Man. And then we just got to kind of try to grind through these. And then we get to Edict, so we freely can attack with a Tracker here. They can, of course, double block our Skoos, but at this point I don't care. I think that's fine. Okay, they will double block the Skoos and they'll chump the Tracker. That's probably the right block, but it's also a block that's fine with me. Plague Engineer helping us even in the unlikeliest scenarios. That was actually huge that the opponent, or that we had a Plague Man for that situation. Opponent made another land drop. That's pretty good. But we get another Plague Engineer off the top. What on earth, guys? What on earth is going on with this card? Why is it so good? Just play 4, Plague Man. If you're on the rock, just play 4. Just play 4. That's all I can say. GG. That was cool. That was very cool. All right. So, as mentioned, we have the awkward sideboarding to contend with. How good is Courser here relative to our other grindy cards? Well, clearly we see that the Plague Man is pretty good. I think I like Tracker better than Courser. Maybe Courser and Kalitas are kind of the worst of our many, many value-oriented creatures. We could consider cutting Abrupt Decay. It's hard because I think we want to cut Decay if we know they've sided out Amulet. But even though most sideboard guides tell them to side out Amulet against us, I see a lot of people still leaving it in, so it's a little tough to say. We could cut up to 3 Fatal Push. We could probably cut up to 2 Skoos. I think Plague Man and Tracker are better than most of these cards, especially the threats, but I don't know. Spellbomb can definitely go. So, and then, yeah, it's a little tricky, but we definitely want the land destruction plan of Surgical plus Fulminator, without question. Otherwise, maybe we don't have that much to bring in. Like, do we bring in more Plague Engineers? I don't really know that we do. Like, it's basically just to beat that zombie plan as far as, like, a really good use case of multiples. Otherwise, it's like a fine card that can, you know, just do its usual thing of being a 2/2 Death Touch body in matchups where they go over that, and also just accrue value at certain spots. I actually think I'm going to be pretty conservative with the sideboarding here, though. So let's take out our 4 worst cards. I think Spellbomb, 1 Skoos, at least 1 Push. And how bad are Kalitas and Courser here? I think let's play a 3rd Plague Man. That's kind of an arbitrary way to be hedged, but we're going to play a 3rd Plague Man. And we're going to cut a Skoos. Skoos is just kind of poor here. This really clogs up our 3-drop slot, but I still don't mind it. And we've still got 3 Fatal Pushes in, which is a high number. It's a high number. If they take us to Game 3, we'll probably cut one on the draw and get more aggro-oriented, right? But, you know, I don't mind this setup. We'll see how it goes. We do have one of our pushes. And we have a curve. We're going to keep. You know, Liliana's quite good in the matchup. We've got the push for a turn for an early Azusa. Yeah, the opponent mulls. Let's keep. We do not have double black, but we can be expected to hit another land at some point, and if so, it will almost certainly be a black one or a Field of Ruin. And there's that Amulet of Vigor. Okay. Okay, so the opponent mulls to an Amulet hand on the play. That's a little frightening. Okay. I don't think Skoos matters enough to play here. I think I'm going to play Verdant Catacombs to hold up push for Azusa. We're also holding up Trophy this way. And we could, of course, just Trophy the Amulet, but that feels loose. But I'm actually considering trophying the Amulet here. Because then we get to go on the Liliana plan and they don't have a way to kill her with like a Hasting Titan without another Amulet. Alright, we're going to trophy the Amulet. That is definitely not a normal play. Might not even be a good play, but given our hand, given our hand and given their progression, that's the only reason I'm doing this. And then it's Liliana time. We're leaning pretty hard on her. We're going to pitch a forest since we drew another land here. I was kind of prepared to push a Fatal Push, but I'm at the same time kind of glad I don't have to, because they could have something pushable next turn. They really could. Hornet Queen got out of their hand. I'll take that all day. That's a really good card. And it's another reason that Plague Engineer is good. I wasn't sure if this was seeing as much play given the presence of Plague Man in the format right now. But hey. Okay, opponent goes Trinket Mage. They've got another Amulet of Vigor. Alright, now we kind of want to draw Thoughtseize. Hey, instead we draw Assassin's Trophy. That's actually quite good. So we're clearly holding up trophy this turn because they look like they're setting up for another Titan. The question then becomes, do we want to tick up or tick down? Well, since they only have 5 lands, I guess we kind of have to tick up. And we'll just pitch our push, play our Scoos. Seems fine. We get an EE out of their hand. That's great. And we can even credibly block this Trinket Mage if it tries to pressure our Liliana. Alright. Alright, we're in a decent spot. You're never out of the woods against a Titan deck that's been making its land drops, but we're in a decent spot. Oh, they've got another EE. Well, that explains why they pitched that one, huh? So they're just going to crack it right now? Yes. Alright. This is fine. Just deciding whether or not to eat the Hornet Queen. Sure, we'll eat the Queen. Now, if we only had the Fatal Push still, we could protect the Liliana, but that's alright. Okay, so they bouncing Gemstone Mine. We draw Fulminator. Alright. So if we Edict the Trinket Mage and Fulminator the Growth Chamber, I think that's a pretty good play at this stage. This means we're not getting Titaned next turn, so I think we're kind of priced into it. Because we're not able to hold up Trophy. Oh my goodness, a Ramanop Excavator, that's so good. Well, at least we have Trophy, but still. Holy moly, that's rough. Alright, we draw Thoughtseize. They have only lands in hand. So, we'll take up and pitch it. And then I guess we've just kind of got to trophy this thing, don't we? Like, we can't just let them repeatedly play lands out of the graveyard, can we? This puts us soft to a Titan off the top, but... Man, this is actually a tough spot. Very tough spot. If we play the Plague Man this turn, we can Edict the Excavator next turn. So we're going to give them a free play, basically, this way. Naga Cleric. I guess Cleric is more likely to be another card in their deck than Naga. I don't know. I don't know what's correct there. Yeah, it's not like they've got a million lands in there, so I guess for now this is okay. We draw another Thoughtseize. So if we tick up, we put a land in the yard. They're just going to buy it back next turn. That means if we want to trade at parity, we are priced into trophying the Excavator. I guess we're going to Thoughtseize. It's probably going to whiff. But there is one unknown. Yeah, it whiffs. That's annoying. But now we're going to pivot to a different plan. One where we go on the Liliana plan and hope they don't top deck a Titan. Stuff has all just been a little bit less than ideal in terms of how it's all lined up. That I will say. But, you know, we can top deck good things too. We want to top deck another trophy to hold that up. That would be ideal. Of course, we've already seen 2. That's a problem. We're unlikely to. Even an answer to the Amulet of Vigor wouldn't be the worst. Peatland is a pretty good draw here, actually. It lets us have the asymmetrical discard. And then it lets us dig for more action. We can still attack with Treetop if we don't get any. And we don't, so let's do it. Alright, so we're dead to a lot of top decks. Hey, Colony Garden is their top deck. Well, it's a good way to extend the game. They have Azusa as well. We have a Tracker. Sweet. It's pretty good in this spot. And I think we're just going to chew through the board here. Azusa is a human monk. We didn't tag her with the cleric name. Feels bad. Feels bad. Oh, man. Opponent with the Bajuka Bog. All right. Let's just crack our clue now. We draw Bob. Sure. We draw a Courser. Okay. Let's begin with that. Thoughtseize. Alright, we're just putting our whole board out there. We're going to Edict Azusa. And we're racing. Obviously, we're dead to some top decks here. Or we're very cold to some top decks, but I believe this to be correct given the texture of the game. They top deck a Sakura Tribe Scout. Not exactly the most frightening thing I've ever seen. Alright, let's gain our life. Let's make our clue. We're living the value dream. Of Courser and Tracker. Let's crack this clue. The value, the value, the value. We draw a Fulminator. Alright, so if we fire up Treetop, they are dead. Right, they don't have anything on board. Nothing in hand. Okay, good game, well played. GG, well played. All right, sweet. Okay, we've been turning up the heat here in the middle of this league, my friends. Like, pair of 2-0 matches, and we are 3-1 playing for the 4-1. Sweet, sounds good to me. Well, we cashed another league. Let's try for the next level up. We're gonna try for the 4-1, and then we can lament what may have been if we had only not gotten curved out on so viciously in Game 3 by Mardu Shadow. But first, to complain about that, we've got to win this match, right? And we are off to a bad start with a no-land mulligan. All right. Ship it back. Yeah, looks like a fine one to me. We're definitely keeping. It's just a huge question as to what to bottom. Like, the logical thing to do in many ways is to bottom a Fatal Push because it's redundant. And we don't even know Push is going to be good. But these cards right now are uncastable. We need to draw another card to another land to see them in play at all. And Fatal Push is our best card in a lot of matchups, really. But I still think we have to bottom the Push. Very tough call in a blind game one. but an interesting decision point, which is what we signed up for this deck, right? Opponent's on burn. Lava Spike. Well, we regret pitching the push, but we have a pretty decent hand. We drew a Tarmogoyf. All right. Hey, if we ever get to the Courser, that'll be great. So let's hope for another land. Let's Inquisition you, and they have a 2-lander. Looting, Forked Bolt, Lightning Bolt. All right, well, it's not burn, it's mono-red Phoenix. We can't stop them from looting. Forked Bolt deals 2 damage at sorcery speed. We don't care about that at the moment. Take the Lightning Bolt. Okay, so there's no Goblin Guides in this deck. They're not going to hit us our land for us. Opponents on Mismatched Mountains. So many mono-red Phoenix players, mono-red Prowess players are on the Mismatched Mountains. Is this like some kind of deep tech strategy to troll the opponent? This is a sweet-looking mountain, though. I like that one a lot. All right. Well, they just went off. They just went off like crazy. They still have that Forked Bolt in hand, 1 unknown. And we have drawn a reactive card. And we have to shock in the tomb. This is all very poor. And they pitched... Oh, they... Okay. They went through that really quickly. So they sacked a mountain to Lava Dart to get Phoenix back. Got it. So I think they're pretty unlikely to be able to get Phoenix back again next turn. However, it might still be correct to play Goyf. Playing Goyf is better against like a Swifty in hand, and it's better to race them long term. It lets us Edict the Phoenix next turn, or maybe even have a turn where we push it if we hit a 3rd land or we otherwise get Revolt. So, very tough call, but I'm going to play the Goyf. I just don't think we win this game if we take too long to set up. But having to shock there is terrible. Having mulliganed is terrible, and therefore maybe being a little shy on lands. Like if we just had this exact hand, but we had a 3rd painless land, that would be amazing. We draw another Goyf. That's, again, good card, but... we just need that 3rd land. We really do. Get the Courser online. Have some double spell turns. And hey, if the opponent just has like Bolt Spike here or Double Bolt, then we were never beating them no matter what, right? Obviously trophying here. And this is bad in its own way. It turns on their flashback lootings and lets them sculpt their hand for next turn. They can still take 4 more hits from the Goyf before they're dead. So it's all pretty rough. It's all pretty rough. I'd even be way more comfortable at 8. Oh my god, Bedlam Reveler. Yikes. Alright, let's draw an untapped land now. Even so, it's not going to be enough. Yeah, they spike us. Nile Spellbomb. Okay. Obviously, Spellbomb's an issue. I mean, we're basically just dead. But I think our best possible play is to Spellbomb into a 3rd land. Hope they have Stone Cold Nothing. We can block with the Goyf, and then we can go from there. But we're just not going to win this game. But we're gonna play to wear out, right? We're gonna play to wear out. What's the opponent thinking about here? Do they have double gut shot in hand? This is also terrible because it shrinks our Goyf, among other reasons. It's temporarily a 5/6, then it's going to become a 3/4, so we might be chump blocking. We're almost certainly going to be chump blocking the Reveler next turn. But desperate times, desperate measures. It's been a long league. I'm tempted to just scoop here because okay. So the opponent's flying through their turns, but then taking forever on these decisions, right? But we don't hit the third land. We're doomed. We're doomed. Show us the kill spell. There it is. The Hardcast Arclight Phoenix is the kill spell. Okay. Okay. Well, we do have some decent tools against this deck. We just, it was game one, we mulliganed, we never hit a third land, and they had a good curve out. So there you go. But we may still have a shot of going 4-1. Let's find out. So Spellbomb's good. Cage is a maybe. Weather the Storm, definitely. Collective Brutality, yes. Plague Engineer is a possibility. And Surgical is also a possibility. Don't think we're interested in too much else here. And obviously Thought Seizes and Bobs can come out pretty freely. And these are our best 4 cards, so I'll just put those all straight in. Anything else we're not that thrilled about? I guess Tireless Tracker would be the other one. So we could also maybe cut a Liliana, but I think all 4 Lily is okay, and maybe even better on the draw than it would otherwise be. So if we cut all of our trackers to bring in 4 Plaguemen, I guess Plagueman is better than Tracker here. Grafdigger's Cage and Surgical, we could be a little bit heavy on the graveyard hate, but this is a very threat-dense 60 and the threat-dense 75. Therefore, I'm more inclined to bring in like the borderline kind of hate cards like Cage and Extraction in this matchup because we are so threat-heavy. It's not like we're going threat-light to do so, right? So I like the sideboarding. We'll see how far it gets us. I think our matchup here is pretty good, and our deck is pretty well configured against it, but it's a very powerful deck. It's a deck that's really slowly but steadily increased its meta share as time went on. So after its inception, after it, like so many other decks, got the boost from Horizons. And like our deck, to be fair, I'm not saying that in any kind of a negative way. Our deck got the boost. We got the Plagueman. We got the Youth. They've both been huge this league. And here we are. We're on the play. We have a fine hand. It's painful lands, but we've got some stuff. We'll keep it. Peatland is very annoying here. Even the Shockland relative to Marsh is very annoying, but all right. Shocking ourselves to play 0-1 Goyf. It's pretty awful, but I think it's the play. Obviously, this dies to everything, including that Lightning Bolt. But given the draw of Liliana, I think that's correct. This way it traded off with, okay, Shrine of Burning Rage, sure. All right, we draw Push. This is a very good hand. I'm reluctant to play the Lily and tick her up, given how good the hand is, so I think we're just going to play Peatland and say go. Potentially have a very active turn this turn. Like, if they play a creature we can push, then we can decay the Shrine. Then we're a lot happier to play the Liliana. Maybe we draw a land and we can empty out our hand. Whether or not we want to cast Extraction, who knows, but the other thing we could have done here is play the Lily and tick up and, like, kind of bank on them ditching a Phoenix. Then we can extract them that way, but doesn't seem great. Because then we're pitching a decay or push and we're spending extraction. We're kind of really low on resources if we do that. So I'm happy with this. It is all very awkward. It's very awkward with the pain of our lands and with the fact that we You know, all these cards don't necessarily work that well together, but Monomorphose to open Proceedings. You got it? And I do like having the Spell Bomb open, I really do. Soul Scar, sure. Okay, if they have nothing else, this is great. We push the Soul Scar, we decay the Shrine, we go to our turn. Looting. Okay. So there's more to come. Well, again, happy we have the Spell Bomb untapped. That is all I can say. They picked Finale of Promise, huh? You know what I kind of like? I'm at least considering Spell Bombing here rather than going Push Decay, because that just gives us a chance for a way better turn next turn. There's a ton of value in their yard. We still have Extraction in hand in case Phoenix becomes an issue, so I'm going to do it. Alright, we hit another land. That's kind of what we wanted, except it's a tapped one. So let's still decay the Shrine. That's mana efficient. Plague Engineer. Alright. Yeah, this being a Blooming Marsh really hurts. So our options are Liliana Edict or Liliana +1. I guess we're Edicting. Again, you know, our hand is still good. But slowly but surely we are taking kind of a lot of damage from our lands. We're not having the most coherent turns in terms of how we curve out, but I will say that given everything else, I'm very happy to have the Surgical in hand right now, because that's what allowed us to take the more proactive line of cracking the Spell Bomb there in the end step. Another Soul Scar, you got it. Glad it's not a Swifty. Glad there's no haste there. Okay, Nurturing Peatland, huh? So it's all a question of how highly do we rate the Surgical. I kind of want to pitch the Surgical, to be honest. I think I'm actually going to. If they just explode out of nowhere and get a million Phoenixes, then that means they have top-decked it. There's no way they wouldn't be going for the Phoenix plan right now after we crack that Spell Bomb, so I think we're supposed to pitch Surgical there. And as painful as the Peatlands are, they do represent 2 redraws. Yeah, we get a Monomorphose out of their hand. That's pretty good. So we're going to go Plagueman, and it's either human or do we just name Phoenix to shrink their stuff off the top, but that's not particularly meaningful. Like, if they go land Phoenix, they can still attack the Lily off the field, for instance, right? So and it's naming human was good against exactly this, against them having more stuff. Pretty annoying, but we'll see if they send both at Lily. If they don't, well, then we get to keep her around, and that's pretty good. She's being attacked by both. Sure. So we let it happen. And then we'll unstep crack a peatland. Alright, you know, we can beat a couple of weenies. We really can. Not by drawing swamps necessarily, but we can. Oh my god, more lands, really? Alright, we're cracking the other peatland aggressively. More and more and more lands. The flood. We just hit 4 lands in a row off the top at a crucial mid-game stage of the game. That's pretty horrendous. Pretty horrendous, my friends. We don't even have trackers in the deck to top deck and turn this into gold, right? Just kind of bad. We do have brutalities. Alright, they're bolting us. You better believe they're bolting us. And they've got to light up the stage. Oh my god. What a great last card to have. They have Mountain Lava Spike. Are you serious? Alright, we're pushing the Soul Scar. We're taking a million this turn. We just got absolutely rocked. And we draw another Fatal Push right after this. Get out of here. Get out of here with this. At least we drew it, but can you imagine if we just had that turn? How much better life would be? Opponent has no lootings to flashback. They do have this to crack, and they will. And they're all the way at 20. Our position's pretty awful. All of a sudden. But that'll happen when we flood with whatever it was, 4 lands in a row, while the opponent rips the gas. Alright, we need Skoos here. That'd be great. Weather the Storm very, very, very late. But definitely a decent card nevertheless. Okay, Monomorphos. This could lead to a good Weather the Storm turn for sure. Probably will. Lava Spike. Yes. Lava Dart. I think we've got to cast it now in case they decide to play around it. This is good enough. Like, if we wanted absolute max value to wait, we'd wait till they flashback it, right? But then maybe they don't, and then maybe we get blown out. So, we've seen a ton of their humans. We've killed a ton of their humans, so I'm actually going to name Phoenix now at this stage of the game. Just so we can more realistically erase a Phoenix off the top. Wow, that Weathered Storm proved to be really good given their Monomorphos turn, which would have been really, really good against any other card but Weather. So, hey, props to this card. Definitely... Oh, wow, another Plague Man? Sure. Definitely does some things that other cards cannot do. There's no question about that. Alright, we're naming Phoenix again, and now we're locking the Phoenixes out unless they have removal for the board. Okay, what an interesting turn of events. We've still got a long way to go, but we're extending the game, giving ourselves a chance to draw Skoos. Inquisition? Inquisition is probably going to whiff here. They probably have, like, Phoenixes in hand, or maybe something they can snap off in response. Or, I don't know what. So do we cast it? Is there... Well, maybe they have a light up the stage in hand. They would have just hard cast it, though. Whatever, let's cast it. It's not getting any better in our hand, and we already are sandbagging one bad card. Yeah, double Phoenix Mountain, sure. Plague Man OP. Plague Man so OP. They got a Swifty, sure. This thing can't block effectively, so they're probably going to attack us. No? Alright. Our draws have been pretty bad. Oh, they can Lava Dart. I still think we have to take trades like this. Death Touch, of course. Like, we don't win by not attacking there. It's kind of a minor miracle that Plague Engineer naming Phoenix is actually relevant as more than a debuff anyway, and they did have to sack a land to do that. So, well, Fatal Push, another kind of bad draw against their hand. It's okay. That really punishes us for attacking last turn, by the way. Once again, the Fatal Push coming just a turn too slow to be perfect, but okay, they got the Flame Slash. Alright, we still need to draw Scoos. Nile Spellbomb. I will take it, and I will main phase it because we're pretty desperate for more action. We could just easily get burned and phoenixed out. Okay, Trophy. More reactive stuff. Okay. Interesting game here, my friends. Going to turn 15 against Mono Red Phoenix. Don't say that every day. And we draw a Goyf. There we go. This is what we want. We wanted Goyfs or Scoozes, and we finally see a Goyf just about halfway through our deck, besides the 0-1 Goyf that we ran out right away, right? What a game. What a game, what a game. Another Spellbomb. All right. I think I'm going to play it and pass. They probably don't have a way to stay alive here against a Goyf with 2 removal spells in our hand, but they might just try to kill us. Lava Dart into light up the stage, revealing Phoenix Mountain. Probably not going to cut it. Concession. All right, guys. All right. Very good, very good. We are taking him to game 3. And I'm just going to take another quick look at the board here. Don't really see much else that we want to be doing in the side. Don't really see much I don't like in the main. Again, like Cage and Surgical alongside 3 Spellbomb, 3 Scoos, Kalitas. That might be a little much on the Grave Hate, but I don't think anything is really better, especially on the draw. Here we go. Okay. Within touching distance of the 4-1. Opponent will mulligan, and we've got yet another 1-lander. What's up with all our 1-landers? But you know what? This one's a keep. This hand is awesome. We just need to hit a 2nd land. We're due. We're going to keep. The opponent taking a mull is great. Let's hope they take another. Nothing against you, my friend, but we'd be more comfortable with you at 5 than at 6. But the 1 land's a painless duel. Alright, they don't take them all. Fair enough. The 1 land is a painless duel. We've got double Inquisition, we've got Spellbomb, we've got Brutality, and we hit another painless duel. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Inquisition you. Opponent has a Lava Spike, light up the stage, Shrine of Burning Rage, and a Mountain. So it's a pretty good 6. I think we need to take light up the stage. They're going to play Shrine next turn. We get to Brutality all 3 modes if we want. Yep, as predicted. Okay, so yeah, it's got to be all three modes here. We just drew another Blooming Marsh. Blooming Marsh OP. Maybe this should get the thumbnail treatment. Seriously, these were great draws. So I think we are going to pitch an Inquisition. It's either Inquisition and Plague Man or Inquisition and Land. I don't know what's best, but I think we should be escalating all three. Pitch Inquisition. Pitching Land grows Goyf the most. That's maybe worth something. We'll pitch the land. Might be a little bit greedy, but we can still operate very well on this stuff. The opponent has a third land in hand. Nice. Okay. We draw Skoos. Nice. We'll play Goy first, though. This blocks better. It doesn't die to Shrine of Burning Rage. Finding a Skoos, though, punishes us for pitching a land instead of a Plague Man, but Nurturing Peatland. Alright, so if we play the Skoos, we're playing it out into the Shrine. But then that's one less way they have to answer the Goyf, so I still think we're supposed to. Opponent's letting us untap. Oh, well, okay, there's only one creature to eat, that's why. So in that case, we'll use our mana this turn. Yep. Oh, they've got a lightning bolt as well. I see. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good for the old OP. I think we're just going to play out our stuff. We'll name human here. We've seen hardly any of their weenies. Okay, so we've got a couple redraws represented on the board, and we're, you know, going to be ahead on board also once the opponent has to cash in the Shrine. They do have two cards in hand, and now they found a looting. Okay. A little scary. Pitching a Reveler, they must have another Reveler, right? No? Or they're just committed to the Shrine this turn, but yeah, maybe they still have another Reveler in hand. It's a little bizarre, but alright, I'm going to main phase the Peatland here. See what we can see. Fatal Push. Alright. Wow. I don't know what this means, guys. Am I supposed to know what this means? Opponent's down to 5. Okay, I think I'm just passing. Yes, they can flashback looting this way, but Yeah, okay, another Reveler, sure. I don't know why they wouldn't cast it last turn or use the Shrine last turn, though. But, whatever. I mean, obviously this is awful. They're gonna Lava Spike us. Alright. So now we're close enough to victory and we're desperate enough for an answer to Reveler or a Shrine that I think we're supposed to Spellbomb here. Look for like a Liliana of the Veil, a Pulse. Liliana. There she is. There she is, my friends. Edict you, GG. Unless they have double gut shot in hand to kill the Plague Man. And it looks like a concession. Client taking obnoxiously long to tell us. There it is. All right. That was our 4-1. That was a sweet return to the Rock. I played a little bit poorly against Hardened Scales, I think. I just wasn't seeing everything. I was conscious of how long the first match took and was kind of trying to speed things up and did not play around everything optimally, but I don't think it was a disastrous display or anything. It just was not. I was not at my peak there in that Hardened Scales matchup, but we got there on the back of Oof and a lot of other good hate cards, including the Plague Man on Liliana the Last Hope. We got wrecked round 1 by Mardu Shadow, admittedly, but we were very, very close to taking them down. But we just cruised through this league from there, my friends. We took down Amulet Titan, we took down Bant Midrange, and we also took down Mono Red Phoenix. Admittedly, that one was a lot closer. But Weather the Storm pulled us out, and yeah, I mean, we're playing with a totally experimental list, kind of mashing my list together with Paranobles. And I think it was a pretty coherent way to have done so, but still not, not the most scientific build you've ever seen. And hey, we came away with a 4-1 that was narrowly denied as a 5-0. So I do, I do dislike when I have videos where I don't play as well in the beginning as I do in the end. It's a little annoying for me because, like I said, I sometimes take a little while to warm up especially if I haven't done live commentary in a while. And a lot of people maybe watch the first third or the first quarter of a video and not the rest. So we don't get to really flex our wings necessarily until the later rounds, sometimes, both in terms of how the deck lines up and in other ways. But that's kind of what happened here, but that's all right. We'll take the 4-1 all day, every day, guys. Definitely feels great. I haven't touched the Rock since I've been playing Jund, so this really is my first time back on it. And you're seeing it here, and we just got the 4-1, so I'll have to think about who to give the thumbnail treatment to, because really, honestly, shouldn't it just be the Plague Man again? Like, this guy is unreal. Unreal how good it was for us. But obviously there's a lot of other candidates too. We'll have to give it some thinking. Even the Blooming Marshes right at the end, drawing the Marshes to make our Game 3 hand viable was great. So I'll have to give that one some thought. I'll have to glance back at the lists before I upload this to see who gets the thumbnail treatment. But either way, this was a fun experimental mashup with my list and Paranobles. We didn't see the Courser do all that much, besides, admittedly, early on. It was actually quite nice, but then it is only a one-of, so it faded from our progressions. It was not as common as we'd like to have seen, but that's all right. We definitely saw what it could do, and otherwise, a lot of the same old stuff kicking ass in this deck. Plague Engineer, Liliana was great. Our graveyard hate seemed to be pretty relevant. Weather the Storm had a really good moment as well. I'll have to really think about it, like I said. Kalidas had a great moment as well. So what's going to get the thumbnail treatment, who knows, but let me know, my friends, what you think as always. I'm sure my regulars will have some things to say about the list, and that's cool, because maybe Paranoble's been onto something with the creature configuration or with some other aspects of the list, and we do always need to find the best way forward with the Rock. So, of course, my friends, I would love to hear everything and anything that you would have to say. let's leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you once again to Gabriella Vicari and to all Patreon supporters. I truly value and treasure each and every one of you. Makes a big, big difference in my life, your support, that is. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. It's back to Donation Leagues next. We're playing Sultai, and we're probably playing Elves as well, green-black Elves. So changing it up yet again, but of course, between that and after that, and maybe even during that, we're going to go back to good old-fashioned rock. So I will talk to you all soon. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful day.